Hey guys, you've probably already heard the news. I woke up to this. I did not expect this. Edwin and Bogspine Knuckles getting nerfed. Dude, people have been talking about nerfs on Edwin for years. It's finally happening. It's weird where Edwin's this weird case where most cards, when over time, most cards from the classics have gotten power creeped out. Cards that were used to be really strong have been replaced by even stronger cards. Edwin's this weird exception, and that's because it's actually gotten better with synergy. So we've gotten all these cards that are one drops, like lackeys, that generate value. So you can often, or like Pharaoh Cat. So, and that's kind of something that I don't think was as prevalent in the early days of Hearthstone, where now it's like every one drop generates another card. So you Shadow Step a one drop, you don't lose value overall, and you get to play the Edwin. And two, you've got Foxy Fraud, which is just insane synergy with Edwin. So the card, while currently nerfed from what it was yesterday, is still likely to be stronger than it was 2 years ago. But that being said, this is a huge nerf for Edwin, and I expect it to completely change the class. Rogue finds a way. I don't expect Rogue to be going away, but I expect Rogue to change and the meta to change a lot from this. If you're playing a Druid, all of a sudden your Edwin to high roll comes a turn later often. You could still, unfortunately, get the turn one high roll where you go Foxy Fraud, Shadow Step, Foxy Fraud, Edwin, because the double Foxy Fraud was redundant before because of the 3 mana would get reduced from 3 to 1 and then to 0. But now it gets reduced from 4 to 0. So the high roll is still there. So Edwin can still high roll and win games, but the consistency is way down. And your medium rolls are going to be far less consistent, far slower, and that's going to make a huge difference. So you're still going to get scammed out of games, but you're not going to have that consistent Edwin pressure every single game that it feels like sometimes. Edwin's going to be a lot slower. It's going to come at a lot more cost. And even the Shadow Step Edwin plays for 1 mana are often, like it used to be, sometimes you'd play Edwin, Shadow Step Edwin, and you didn't have a minion. Sometimes you would have Edwin out and then Shadow Step it and play it again to this. And all those plays are much weaker now. So I think I don't want you guys to understand this is a huge nerf, and Rogue will have to change, and this will be forever affecting the Rogue class. Another thing to note is the Alex Dawson said people were asking about it. Should we craft this? Should we assume it's gonna and he said we'll be getting rotating, but didn't use the term Hall of Fame. And there's kind of some hype that there's going to be an entire class rework, and this is very big. So it's kind of a thing of you might not, like Edwin might just be changing. It might be rotating. We're not really sure, but we don't think Edwin's going to Hall of Fame, but we think Edwin's going away, which is if there's going to be a new card replacing it, you can see as a small part of this, stand time will be come to a close. However, Hall of Fame will be no more. So this is huge news. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. I do hope that we don't get really hurt on dust-wise, because historically, the idea of the classic set was that it was an evergreen, so that Hearthstone wouldn't break the bank because you would always have that base collection. So certain things, while they might be cool, it's not really cool if you will have to craft a whole bunch of new cards and you fall off the game. So that's something I am skeptical about if they're basically removing away from the classic set. So that's kind of hype that's going on that might happen. So for good or bad, it is what it is. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. Usually it might be, realistically, it will probably be good for some people and bad for others. So that's what is happening. Big nerfs. And let's talk about the Evolve Shaman. Evolve Shaman, Bogspine Knuckles, 3 attack. This is 2. So there's 3 ways that this kind of really affect the game. One, you guys probably already know the interaction with Dread Corsair, which has 4. It costs 4 mana and costs 1 less for each additional for each attack your weapon has. So you have Bogspine Knuckles. It used to be you equipped it and you play the Dread Corsair for free. Now that Dread Corsair is going to cost 1 mana. So you're not going to get those. Part of the power of the Bogspine Knuckles is you bloom it out on 3. You play 2 Dread Corsairs. That's the high roll for Shaman. And then all of a sudden you have 2 5-drops. And that's not going to happen anymore. That's huge. And a lot of times you have a 4 health minion. They're not going to be able to kill it with Bogspine Knuckles. So you can play 4 health minions, which are a lot more frequent than 5 health minions, to play around sort of the trades from Bogspine Knuckles, which also makes a difference. And there's a little bit of incremental damage. Often, just weapon hitting, like if you're playing a warrior, that little 4 damage every turn from Bogspine Knuckles wins games. And it might not anymore. So these 3 things, I think people are going to hurt Shaman a lot, but I do expect Shaman to still be around. I think if Shaman will probably, this version will die until people stop running Cobalt Sticky Fingers. And then once people stop teching against it, I expect Evolved Shaman to make a comeback. It has a legit place in the meta. It does unique things. So eventually what happens is you have, every deck kind of has a place in the meta. Certain decks can get crowded out by other decks. An example is Weapon Rogue was not seeing any play because why are people going to run Weapon Rogue when there's so much Cobalt Sticky Fingers in the meta? So certain decks can kind of force other decks out of the meta, but certain decks are also will come back as long as there's space in the meta, or it will come back in time because the meta will adjust. The deck will do bad. People stop playing things that are good against it, and then it will be good again. And I expect this to be for Evolved Shaman. So I want to take a quick look on HS Replay, and this is kind of when I'm trying to do predictions for a tournament often. What I kind of look to sort of think what I think will be good. So you can see here, if this is a feature that on HS Replay, I'm sorting by legend. You wouldn't be able to do this if you didn't have premium, but you could do bronze through gold. Not as useful. But I've sort of completely grayed out, and I want to do this for Bomb Warrior as well. I've completely grayed out World Kick Rogue, Secret Rogue, and Evolved Shaman. Now, I do expect these decks to still be around, so this is not accurate, but I'm trying to look at the big winners I expect to be from this. And one is Zoo Warlock at Legend, insane win rate without those decks. So I think Zoo Warlock is going to be a winner, but I do expect the meta to adjust for it in multiple ways that I'm going to get to later. But I expect Zoo Warlock to be a big winner. And interestingly enough, I saw this, and I've already seen people start playing this on ladder. Enhancement Shaman. Enhancement Shaman still get benefits from the 2-mana weapon draw that Shaman has, but it's not the Bogspine Knuckles. So I expect Enhancement Shaman to potentially have a new place in the meta. It's especially with sort of with Rogue not as strong. I expect it to be quite a bit stronger. I'm already seeing players play it, and with Zoo, this is what I was talking about. Zoo is quite poor against Enhanced Shaman, 46.24, so not horrible, but not great. So if Zoo goes up in popularity, which I expect it to, I expect Enhancement Shaman to do really nicely against that. People are already talking about Bomb Warrior. Bomb Warrior might go up significantly in popularity, though I barely see it at the high level. If Cobalt Sticky Finger goes down in play, Bomb Warrior is likely to go up, because part of the thing that's really hurting Bomb Warrior right now is Cobalt Sticky Fingers. So that could be an unexpected winner of the patch. Another thing is Soul DH might just come back because of power levels. You lower the power level. Soul DH was a good deck. It was hurting. Might come back with the overall power level of the game just kind of being lowered with nerfs. So some of these decks, I'm surprised it's showing. You can see here, so many decks without those decks have a positive win rate, because so much of the meta is World Kick Rogue, Secret Rogue, and Evolved Shaman. Without those decks, so many decks become so much stronger. Even though in Rage Warrior, I found this interesting, is one of the best decks in the game, it does have a positive win rate against World Kick Rogue, and at the high level, at a very high level. So in Rage Warrior, I, interestingly enough, might be a loser from the meta, just because the meta might adjust to be not as in Rage Warrior favor. But I still expect, in Rage Warrior never seems to die. I think it will still be around for sure, but will it be as strong? It's hard to say. One other thing that I've already seen on ladder a lot, I played Aggro Rogue. I expect to be quite a bit better. Sort in that one Zoo loses to this deck hard. I hate playing this deck against Zoo. They just hit you in the face and they ignore your board and they kill you. Aggro Rogue is very good against Zoo, and without sort of World Kick Rogue having the Edwin high roll as much, you can often just win games that way. So I expect Aggro Rogue to be on the rise. People will still want to play Rogue. And Aggro Rogue doesn't run, most versions don't run Sticky Fingers. I've seen versions that do, or don't run Edwin. So I expect Aggro Rogue to be good. So that's kind of my guess of what I expect the meta to change. And you can see kind of what I think the winners, I think the biggest winners are Zoo Warlock, Enhancement Shaman, and Bomb Warrior. So, you know, even like I said, even though I think Enrage Warrior is kind of a better deck than Bomb Warrior, Bomb Warrior will benefit from the lack of Kobold Sticky Fingers if that changes. So those are some of the things I expect to change. So I'm going to make also another video where I kind of go over my top 5 decks to play post-patch. But just, you know, for those who are curious on how things work, hope that was informative. Anyways, hope you guys like this, and talk to you later.